Look what I just found.
Yes, I got that last night at the hotel because I didn't know.
5 bags of candy.
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you are sleeping. On TLC, My 600-Pound Life Show, we have seen many inspiring stories, but most people appearing on the show have often been depending totally on their family members, lovers just to take care of them for such a long time. Initially, they struggle to act like adults just to take matters into their own hands, whether they fail to make progress or ignore all advice. By the way, in today's video, we are looking back at the most awfully irrational scenes in My 600-Pound Life. Sarah Neely. It is definitely a pretty big deal to ask someone to move to a different part of the country for you. In the case with Sarah Neely, her mother wasn't exactly looking excited to spend one whole year in Houston while taking care of her being a mother. In fact, throughout the trip, both of them had already been arguing for most of the time, but things actually became worse and tense shortly after they just arrived in the new apartment in Houston. Sarah's mother started unpacking while Sarah was seen sitting down to take some rest on the chair. She started yelling, saying, "Look what I just found." Despite the fact that her daughter needs her support and being used to being taken care of by the mother, Sarah's mother wasn't thrilled about staying with her to do everything for her own grown kid. Actually, her mother was quite disappointed to see that she had totally failed to take responsibility for her own life. And when she found several cookies and candy bags in Sarah's pack-up bag, she immediately got madly angry at her. Obviously, she has come so far from her home for her, and seeing such a non-serious attitude could definitely get her angry. So she confronted her daughter about keeping junk foods in her bag and smuggling it into the apartment, and she found nothing but Sarah's lame excuses that made her only even more worried about her, because she started worrying whether or not her daughter was even taking her own weight loss as seriously as everyone else around her. James King. We know that most of Dr. Now's patients are quite challenging, such as James King, as he was definitely one of the most bullhead and controversial patients that Dr. Now ever worked with. His daughter had even quit her school just in order to take care of him, and James King's father even had to refinance his house just to pay for his son's transportation to Dr. Now's office so he could transform his lifestyle. But despite all that sacrifices his beloved family members made, he kept manipulating others and his own delusional wife Lisa so she could sneak junk food for him in the hospital. When he was staying at the hospital and met with Dr. Now for the very first time, he was the heaviest patient on My 600-Pound Life in their history. In one of the scenes, Dr. Now said to him that you don't think your weight has anything to do with your eating habit. James replied, "No, I don't." So Dr. Now counter-replied to him saying that, "So what do you think your weight comes from?" Thin air. Due to his size, at 791 pounds and with a series of medical issues, it was only a matter of time until his body would shut down. James, being bedridden, expected Dr. Now to fix him, instead of taking any responsibility. He actually gained 60 pounds in a week during his day at the hospital, with Lisa sneaking in food for him. Dr. Now eventually lost his patience, as apparently he seemed to change his lifestyle. Even neither James nor his mom or girlfriend understood how bad his situation had become. In fact, after some time, James ultimately decided to deny the weight loss surgery, and unfortunately, due to his enablers, he continued down the destructive path and sadly passed away on April 3, 2020, with an insider saying that due to stress after liver and kidney issues, James's heart gave out. Gina Crassley. 28 years old Gina, weighing 600 pounds, first got featured on the show while struggling to walk and eating out of boredom, and as a coping mechanism started her treatment with Dr. Now to improve her lifestyle. She was totally dependent on her wife Beth and her mother, even both of them got frustrated taking care of her. Beth expressed that Gina is unable to get intimate with her because of her overweight, and that disappoints her. After meeting Dr. Now, she was assigned to lose 50 pounds in just 2 months. But she didn't get approved for gastric bypass surgery because of her lame excuses for not following the instructions. Despite all Beth's struggles as she worked through the issues that contributed to Gina's bad eating habits, she gained 8 pounds, except losing 50 pounds in 2 months when she came back to Dr. Now. So Dr. Now suggested to her to take sessions from a nutritionist and a therapist who can help her. she got a last chance and stern warnings from Dr. Now, but nothing worked in her case. At last, she got cancelled at 556 pounds by the end of the show. Tammy Lynn. Tammy had already lost a significant amount of weight following her weight loss journey, so therefore, she made up her mind to become more independently fit and active in her life. By the way, in an effort to do so, she finally decided to do the laundry on her own. But unfortunately, even this sort of simple task didn't work as smoothly as she'd expected. Not just that, on the way back from the laundry room to her hotel room, Tammy started feeling dizzy and ended up having to drop down to the floor. We all are familiar with the fact that whenever we try to take the first steps in our life, they are always the hardest one. So what if Tammy's performance did seem a little dramatic, but we can't accuse anyone of faking things, right? Well, but still, there's a fact that to be completely independent, she didn't really appear to be trying her best, especially considering that once she started having everyone's attention, she appeared to be miraculously feeling better and was seen quite able to walk the rest of the way without any hurdles at all. So what's your take on that? Is she dramatic or not? Let us know by commenting down below. Anginette Whaley. In Season 7, we met Anginette for the first time, weighing a staggering 679 pounds at that time. Due to her obesity, she had to rely on girlfriend Erica to help her with pretty much everything. Instead of losing 140 pounds until her second appointment with Dr. Now, Anginette Whaley only lost 33 pounds. But even though the next time, she did better and finally qualified for surgery, but she soon started gaining weight again. So, when the bariatric surgeon Dr. Now confronted her about her gaining 15 pounds weight his patient, Anginette naively tried to put all the blame of her weight gain on the fluid in her body. I mean weight. What? So, Dr. Now reminded her that if she wanted to save her life, she had to come to Houston, and claimed in front of her that the approval for surgery didn't mean that she has got a yes, that now she could just go back to eating 7,000 calories per day. Then advised her to undo the damage, so that's what she did and had down on top of losing the 50 pounds, because she was supposed to get reapproved for surgery, and guess what? She luckily got back on track by the end of her episode. Cena Collins. Dr. Now gave a prediction that Cena did not seem interested in changing her life, as around the 2-month mark, at the weight check-in requirement, Cena just bailed. Well, according to her, she was too scared to go as she had misplaced Dr. Now's diet printout. As per expectations, when she visited Dr. Now's place a few months later, he was actually not happy with her behavior because she only lost 1 pound instead of losing 40 pounds a month. As she missed a 6-month appointment with Dr. Now, he decided as her weight was not losing itself, that she needed to fly down to Houston. However, Dr. Now said to Cena that he was happy with her weight loss, but her progress was still too slow. If someone is following his strict diet, 35 pounds in 8 months was not a lot as expected, so she needed to work harder if she wanted to undergo surgery. In fact, he instructed her to lose 80 pounds in 2 more months and also suggested she should start seeing a therapist. Samantha Mason. Samantha Mason is a relative newcomer in the list of my 600-pound life cast members. When her episode aired, it was December 2020, and she was introduced to audiences in a quite interesting way. As we know, due to their sheer oversized bodies, most of the stars of the show can't work. By the way, Samantha was nearly 1,000 pounds and was dangerously close to dying. So she was worried that if she did not stop herself consuming junk food and stop making her relationship with food quite toxic, otherwise she might leave her daughter motherless. Do you know Samantha, better known online as Vanilla Hippo? She is a social media sensation who has exploited her weight in every possible way, so she could provide for her family. But when she realized that her weight numbers were increasing day by day and risks were so high that she might die, she finally decided to change her life around so she could achieve her life goals. Therefore, she packed her bags and moved to Houston to meet Iranian-American surgeon Younan Nozarad to seek his help. Samantha was sent home again following a stint in the hospital, but struggling to keep her spirits up. While on the other hand, her teenage daughter Bella tried her hell best to build up her mother so she could focus on the positive aspects of her situation. But Samantha just continued focusing on all the negatives and kept saying, "I can't find a positive anywhere. I can't land on a positive. In Samantha's journey to health, this was a vast obstacle that resulted in a lot of the pressure landing on her daughter. The roles clearly switched between the daughter and mother in this situation as Bella continued to point out good things that had already happened. Samantha still seemed to have lost all the hopes on everything as she started acting irrationally and eventually yelled at Bella, who understandably got really frustrated as well. Well, that's all guys for today with most awfully irrational scenes in my 600-pound life. Thank you for watching the video.